Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about 0 degrees of Aries, this specific point on the zodiac, and its connection to everything that I see happening now in the collective and to this huge expansion in consciousness that is unfolding right now on our planet. So there's a lot of planets right now either side of the Aries point. At the end of Pisces, we have Neptune and the lunar north node, the Sun and Saturn. And in early Aries, we have Venus and Mercury, which are both retrograding, and they're going to be going back across this point back into Pisces for the second time. And so the sun's ingress into Aries, which happens every year around about March 20th, marks the beginning of spring autumn equinox, depending on which hemisphere of the planet that you're on. And on the equinox, the Earth's equator, its horizontal axis, exactly lines with the ecliptic path of the sun. And this horizontal axis also activates the Earth's vertical axis, forming a cross, and therefore activates that center point where the lines intersect, which is at the very core of the Earth that we are all part of. So this is really huge. And this point in the very center of the Earth is what I see as Mother Earth's 0 point. And the other significant thing that's happening, just a few hours before Neptune actually moves into Aries for the first time since, I think, 1862, the rulers of the lunar nodes, which are Neptune and Mercury, are going to be meeting at 29 degrees 59 of Pisces in the very, very last minute of the zodiac. And this is as Mercury is retrograding back into Pisces and Neptune's about to leave Pisces. So the rulers of the nodes are going to be meeting at this point, which feels really significant. And Mercury is... So Mercury is the current ruler of the lunar south node in Virgo. And Mercury is connected to the way that we create our reality and interact with it. How we think, how we learn, how we perceive the external world, and map out our environment through our senses, like through what we see and hear and touch, and how we give meaning to what we're perceiving. And so it's about how we make sense of our existence. And especially with Virgo, it's about how we discern and decide what is real. So if Mercury is about how we build and create our reality, Neptune, which is the ruler of the North Node in Pisces, is more connected to how all this meaning dissolves. When we get to the end of our life and we realize that everything that we created and experienced was based on the illusion of separation. And so we realize at the end of our life that everything that we thought was separate from us, the people, everything, was literally an extension of our being. So Pisces is connected to this feeling of dissolving and merging into oneness, like we're losing our individuality, our sense of self. But what I feel is actually dissolving at this point is the illusion that we were actually ever separate from it. And so it's not that we are dissolving or merging, we're just becoming more aware of what's already been there, the connection that's already been there. And so at this point, we we discover that we are all that is. We're not just interconnected with it. It's literally an extension of us. It's our own feedback system that is showing us all the time where we believe that we're separate from it. And so when we get triggered by people and situations in our external world, it's actually our own feedback system showing us that we believe that we're separate from it. And so it's our own system. And the more separate we feel from it, the louder this feedback system gets, and the more extreme the contrast becomes. So I feel that this division that we're currently experiencing on the planet is something that we collectively as Source have orchestrated. It's like we've pitched Source against Source in a way to show us that we believe that we all believe that we're separate. And so the more we see other people as wrong, the more we're manifesting them into our reality, because our external world, our feedback system is bringing them to us. They're getting louder. And this is ultimately because I feel that we're up leveling this game of illusion of separation that we're in. So this 0 point of Aries, I see it as this kind of like this sliver between incarnations. It's both the end and the beginning of a cycle. It's like the point at the very end of our life when we become aware of the totality of ourselves as Source, and when we discover that the external world is and always has been literally an extension of our being. It was never separate. And so this point is that realization, but it's also the very beginning of a new life where we have to forget all of that. We have to forget all that we are, so that we can create a new game of separation, of illusion, and illusion of separation. And we have to believe that we're separate so that we can perpetuate the game. And so that's when we start to build with Mercury and building our reality and giving meaning to things. And so what I feel we're being invited to do here with all this back and forth over the 0 point is to step into a whole new level of consciousness where we can exist in both worlds, where we can kind of straddle the 0 point, but be kind of like right on it, holding the duality, the dual awareness that we are all that is. We're connected to all that is, and also that we are an individual, sovereign piece of Source energy in human form, with our own perspective of Source, from our own angle and perspective, our coordinates in time and space. And so with this dual awareness, we can play the game of illusion of separation consciously. And when we play this game from the 0 point in the quantum space, at the frequency level, we can play outside the rules of time and physicality. We're not bound by the rules of time and space. And we can also use the astrology as a tool to play this game of illusion, and that's something that I like to do. And we can connect with our own point of origin in the center of our own natal chart. That's where our our vertical and horizontal axis intersect in the center. And that's the place where that's our exact coordinates in time and space that I believe our souls chose to bring us into form, to experience this perspective. And this 0 point, our 0 point, contains all the codes of ourselves as source. It contains the codes of our soul from this one perspective and angle of the universe. So we're all experiencing the universal frequencies in our own way, like in our own unique shape and flavor, based on the patternings in our sacred geometry and based on our level of consciousness. And when we play with these patternings in our geometry, with the awareness that they are also an illusion of separation, and when we connect with these frequencies internally in the quantum space at that 0 point, this is where astrology gets to be limitless. And our own unique map of the universe with all its frequencies becomes like a giant game board for ourselves as source to consciously play and to create and to elevate our sacred geometry and update our human avatar, if you like. And this is going to be something that I plan to talk about more in other videos. But the main reason I wanted to talk about this 0 point is because when we connect with our own 0 point, and especially if we align our 0 point with Mother Earth's 0 point, that we are part of her planet, and we do it on this upcoming equinox at the exact moment, and I'm on Pacific time. It will be on March 20th at 2:01 in the morning, 2:01 a.m. I'm not sure what time that would be for you, but when we connect with our own 0 point and align it with Mother Earth's, it's like we can create our own activation, our own sovereign activation. And we can use these powerful transits while all these planets are going back and forth to connect with them at the frequency level and elevate these frequencies. So Neptune is going to be crossing the 0 point on March 30th for the first time for us in this lifetime. And it's going to be happening the day after the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. And then Neptune's going to be retrograding back into Pisces in October, and then moving back into Aries again in January of 2026, followed by Saturn. And I'm going to be probably talking a lot about that too later on. So as I think about this point at the end of Pisces, the beginning of Aries, the end and the beginning of the zodiac, the end and beginning of our incarnation, I think what we actually discover is that we never actually left the 0 point. And that this whole trip around the zodiac was actually an illusion. Because if time and space are an illusion and everything's happening at once, then the 0 point is here and now. It's in the present moment, exactly where we are. And that's where everything exists. It's where everything we want exists. It's where everything is. And that's where we can connect with the frequencies that we want to connect with. And I believe that's where all our power lies, at the 0 point. It's where all the potential is. I also believe that we are all one thing, and we are different elements of one source, just seeing itself from different angles. And, regarding what's happening on the planet right now, I think that, when we can, if we can hold our truth and simultaneously allow others to hold theirs without needing to defend our point of view, and we allow others to hold their sovereign perspective, then that's the true oneness of Pisces. And when we can see the divinity in everyone and everything, and have gratitude for what our own feedback system is reflecting to us through these people and situations, then I think when we see the divinity in everything, it's like we start to light each other up like neurons in a giant brain. And I feel that that's where we're all going right now. But I'd love to know what you think, and how you're feeling about these Pisces energies, and let me know in the comments what you think. And thank you all so much for your support. And in my new channel, I'm still learning how to navigate and use social media, and some of my videos are a little bit clunky, but so thank you for supporting me, and please feel free to share this with anyone that you think might be interested in this kind of stuff. But this is what I have for today, and thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.